Hi, I'm Sarah.
And I'm Chantele. And we're talking to you today about Survivor South Africa, episode 11.
11. Don't start crying yet, Chantele. Wait. We have to get through it. But this is a sad one, you guys. But first, if you're new to this channel, please click subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. Super appreciate it. Well, I got to be honest. The editing of this episode led me a different way. They blindsided me, for sure.
Okay, I didn't end up getting blindsided because in the pre-trailer, it shows like what we're going to be talking about a little bit in the episode. They showed the tribal council pass, and I was like, if they're showing the tribal council pass, it's either going to be used or it's going to be misused. And I knew that whether she's going to use it or not use it. And it just, I felt that it telegraphed to me that she's going to be the focal point, and it's going to be whether or not she uses it or not. Because why are they reminding us about this if it wasn't
right?
So if they had not put that in their like pre-episode trailer, I would have probably been completely duped. But that accompanied with, at the very end, she's like, if I get a whiff of not feeling safe, and I was like, that better been a whiff, because that tribal council, I wouldn't have felt safe if I was hearing what was being chatting around. And then she didn't use it. I was like, I think she's going home. So.
That is a great catch, because what I guess I was half paying attention to the preview, because once we get into it, the first thing we get is Tyson to camera being like, I'm top dog, you guys. I'm in the most powerful group with Warda and Kieran. And I was like, that person always goes, buddy. You're setting me up. So I missed.
Well, I agree. At that point, though, even with that information, I was thinking that with this tribal council pass, she was going to use it, and she would target or something, and then Tyson would have gone out. That's kind of originally how I was thinking things were going to play out. So I thought that we were being led to believe that the top dog was going to be slayed. But then at the end, then I put all the other pieces together, and that's why I came to another conclusion.
Well, in his little top dog speech here, he points out that Anesu is the bottom, and that is who he'd like to target because she's a snake. He doesn't trust her, and she needs to go, which I was surprised that he said Anesu and not Santini, but I do understand that Anesu has been working against him, basically, so I get it. And then we move over to Anesu, who's like, I am still ready to take Tyson out. Let's go.
Well, remember last week
she
made that move. We're like, just do it. Make that move. You got to do it. Save them. Do it. Flip it. You got two of them that you'd be getting out. And we were so wanted that to happen. Amy and Rhaenyra still in there. She would have made it past this week. And I'm wondering if she's going to have a little bit of buyer's remorse there with that decision, because she was a week too late making her move.
But Anesu wanted to make it work. Are you talking about Anesu?
Yeah, well, last week.
Yeah. So she wanted to make it work. So even though she...
in the end, though, she didn't, though. Remember, it was like back and forth for a bit. I guess
but it's Santini and Chappie's fault. Santini and Chappie set up Anesu's demise. And, okay. Well, I don't like it. Anyway, so she thinks she can get the numbers this time. She tried last week, couldn't get the numbers, but she thinks she can do it this time. And at this point, I'm saying best of luck to you. It's still a good idea. Tyson and Kieran and Warda are the most powerful group. If you want to get to the end, you do need to take them out. And Day 27. Go ahead.
Also with that tribal council pass, I thought that ooh, okay, great. They think that they can get her now, regardless of what happens. She's going to use this tribal council pass, and they're going to have to change their plan. That's like, no matter what, at the very basic of it, I thought that she was going to be able to use it this episode and foil their plan.
Right. Oh, well, that would have been juicy. We go to a reward challenge. It says Day 27 reward. They're going to play in 2 teams of 4. They're going to fill a net with coconuts. Then they're going to solve a puzzle. And then they're going to test drive a Mahindra Tar.
Which looks like it's a Jeep, like a Jeep Wrangler.
We would call that a Jeep. Yeah. I don't know. Is this a version of Jeep or is this like a competitor to Jeep? I don't know. But it's a beautiful vehicle.
Oh my God. That's like my dream car. I've been like, next car that I have is going to be a standard Jeep Wrangler that I can take the top off. It is cars.
Yeah. My next car will be a Mahindra Tar.
Or take it, even though I wouldn't like driving stick with my left hand. That'd be kind of awkward.
Oh my God, so hard. They're gonna also get a braai. Did I pronounce that right?
Yes. Which is I wrote it down. Hold on, where did I write it? It's like roasted meats. Is that like a?
Well, we call it a barbecue.
Barbecue, exactly.
I'm gonna call it, for the sake of all of our BB fans, though, I'm gonna call it a cookout. They're going to get a cookout with chakalaka and a bunch of other things. Don't know what chakalaka is, but it sounds delish. Hopefully that's not meat. It probably is. They're going to do a schoolyard pick for these teams. Warda and Kieran get to be captains. Interesting. Little alliance there. And Warda's going to pick Tyson. And then Tyson's going to pick Nicole. And then left over for them is Chappies. Kieran's going to pick Anesu, and Nesu's going to pick Anella, and left over is Santini. How'd you feel about these picks here?
Well, at the time, I didn't even really notice it back and forth until after when the team lost and Santini was complaining about it. Like I didn't really think about it. But now that I look at the whole episode, not just necessarily to jump to the end, but this is probably why Nicole voted the way she did, because she was taking on this reward. So yeah, back at it now, I'm like, damn, like them taking her made her be able to be more on their side. They fed her, they sold her a bunch of bullshit at that, I'm sure, like more than they showed. And they allowed her to feel like she was part of this decision and part of this. And they just got to put more work into her having her vote. So
I don't know if there was any pre-discussion here, but I did think this was super smart to split up. If you have two people on the outs, put one on each team so that both of them can be worked on by whoever wants to work on them, which is going to be Tyson and Kieran, basically. I thought that was really, really smart. And also, Nicole is a much better competitor than Santini. So if I'm left between these two females, I'm going to pick Nicole so she can win it for us. But once again, Santini, look at it. Look at it. Why did you not vote a certain way last week?
Oh my gosh. But if Santini got this, like she got this hint of like, oh my God, they wanted her, the challenge champion, to be on their team so that they have a better chance of winning. But wouldn't that be like, oh wait, that means they don't care about me being on their team because I can't help them win food rewards. So I would be feeling like, oh my goodness, like Nicole is taking my spot. Like this is a problem. This is a big
absolutely problem. Yeah, I think that's very clear here. But this green team looked pretty stacked to me from the get-go. They are going to get a little bit of a lead here. Their tower drops first. They get to start the puzzle first. And even though orange was not far behind, green is going to win. And Tyson is going to get to take Nicole on a date here and woo her.
A little crusheroo is happening?
Well, no, just for game. Just woo her on over. Get that vote.
Game crush. And she drove
it
off, which was cute.
She what? Say that again?
She drove it off. She drove the car.
Oh, right. Why did she get to drive? They get to pick one person to take the test drive.
If we're talking about them trying to massage Nicole's whatever ego or whatnot, you drive Nicole. Yes.
Missed that, Nicole. Yeah, she gets to hop in, drive this vehicle on a gorgeous drive. It really was beautiful. Go to this reward, but before we get to see the reward, we're gonna see Santini talking to Anesu about her feelings about this.
I mean, I love Santini not happy. She's It's really fun. I share her confessionals are great. I like that we get to hear exactly what she's feeling, what she's thinking, and it makes us want to be playing along with her. I feel like she is
Yeah.
the star of the show, kind of, because I know what she feels about every single person and every single situation that she's been in. So I'm hoping at this point, now that I know that how this episode ends, that this means that she is going to have a redemption arc and she's going to cut through all this madness and get to the end. Because who else is going to not like narrate the show if she's gone?
Yeah, she has given us great confessionals since the very beginning and definitely has that sort of star of the show vibe. Whether she wins or not,
Nobody can touch her.
She's the one that we're going to think about after season 8 is over for years, right?
What happened? That's okay. They know what happened though, so I just don't see them just having so many confessional footage from her if she wasn't going to go the whole way. At least get to the end, because like they would need to be showing somebody else's story as much as they're showing hers. If you know, so I don't know. I'm thinking Santini's here to stay. I think she's going to win this game now.
I don't know if she's going to get the votes, but we'll talk about that later. But yes, she's here. She's not going anywhere. But you know what? Serious Santini is a B. And she's going to come for you. Yes. Is basically where we are with that. And now we're going to head back over to this cookout with this team. And they get lots of food. They are misting Nicole left and right. And she's doing her fair share of, you guys, I was so loyal. Look at me. I can be a loyal soldier. And they're like, you know what? You're right. Loving that about you.
I know. It's like, honestly, though, it was so obvious to us. Like, anything you say, we're just going to make you feel so good.
Yes.
Like, grooming her. You know?
Yeah. Love it. Love it. Then they get letters from home.
Sweet. I mean, it wouldn't really affect me that much.
Did you cry?
No, not even close to a tear. My eyes were dry. Most of the time, those don't really get me. If I'm not emotionally connected to those players, it doesn't really. I don't know. I'm not emotionally connected to them. Like I love them, but I'm not like I don't know. I don't care.
And I think they didn't read the letter, so we didn't hear. But I did find it fascinating that 3 of them cried, and Tyson was like, "Oh, my brother gave me a sports update."
See, that's something that I would want. Like my mom would be like telling me, like if I don't know, oh my God, so and so won Big Brother, and I'd be like, Mom, you're not supposed to tell me. I'm gonna come watch after. That's probably what I would want instead of being like, oh, we're so proud of you.
I know. Don't give me that sappy stuff. I don't need it. All right, day 28. Next day, we're gonna see Anesu and Anela touching base here. She's going to let him know she's still gung-ho to get Tyson out. This is the time. Let's do it. I think I can get the votes. And he says, great. Love it.
This is the thing. I don't know if I said it last week or the week before, but I was feeling as though it was last week that Anesu was just a little bit too open with her plans to target her alliance members. And I don't know. I wish that she had allowed again, Nicole and Anela to come up with a plan to her and for her to, like kind of go with their plan. Because we learned that one thing that was making Anela hesitant is the fact that this was going to look like her move if they went with her. And so
please explain to me though, how that adds up. If he goes with her plan, it's her plan. But if he goes with Kieran and Tyson's plan, he somehow gets credit.
I guess because him and Nicole would be going over, and so him and Nicole would get partial credit. I think it's just because she's a woman. I really don't. No matter what, he was saying that this was the deciding factor, and I'm just thinking that it will just look more. Maybe it's because there's more of the other side. So there's like Kieran, there's Warda, and there's Tyson that would, and then him and Nicole would all be sharing that move together. But if it's Anesu, I guess he's not giving any credit to Santini and what's his name, Chappies.
Okay, I appreciate you trying to defend that, but no. You are going along with someone else's plan either way. So if you make it to final three, great. Make sure you say, I helped get Tyson out with Anesu, or I helped get Anesu out with Kieran. Like either way, you're going to just say you helped and you were a part of the decision.
I really do think, though, not in a sexist sort of way, but I do think it's because it was the woman coming up with a plan, and he has a boys' club relationship with like Kieran and Tyson.
Okay.
So he feels a little more included.
Okay, we'll see how that works out for you. Well, part of what we're talking about here is we should say like Kieran and Tyson are doing the work. They are talking to Anella. They're promising him final three. They're saying, we're going to take Warda out. Don't even worry about it. And right now we want to take Anesu out. Join us. And he says, great, I get to be a part of this vote.
Yeah, the boys really gave him more security than what Anesu did. She didn't tell him that. It just seemed probably to him like it's just this one vote. We're not working together really, but we're going to just make a big power move. And I feel like Kieran and Tyson, and he really likes Tyson, I think Anesu had said, they brought him into the plan more. And so that's kind of why I think that more so he felt more that he'd get more credit for what he's doing because he's part of the plan as opposed to being dictated what the plan is by Anesu.
Yeah. Those were probably key missing.
Making sense now, right?
Yeah. I think they did more work. They offered a deal, basically. Anesu thought she was doing the work, but did not. She got outworked.
So, like, it's, you know what I mean? Like, she doesn't have that kind of like, all right, all guys together, like, let's do this. Like, we're a team. It's the three of us to the end. We need each other. Like, she doesn't have that card to play with him. They don't have that relationship. So it's unfortunate that she was coming up with him being the one that is being lured in by two guys, which is just a little bit more enticing.
I guess. Sometimes you want to be the only guy with a group of girls. Then you stand above them, kind of, you know?
He's a team guy. He's a team.
He's a boys club guy. Anesu and Santini and Chappies are going to get on the same page. They're good with the vote, and they're good with, if we can win, immunity here, we'll send Santini to Immunity Idol. We, decide that she will stay and play, look for that other idol, and, we'll say we don't need your vote. They're making this plan.
And like, I think the plan is great to, get Santini over there. I didn't understand though why it couldn't have been Anesu that got sent over there, because I don't think not ever, but I don't think that Santini would have been the target. Well, I guess maybe if there was no other choice, but I don't know. I wasn't sure why it was Santini, but it could be, we know that Santini kind of gets a little bit squirrely if she's not part of the plan or she's like not picked for something. So that could be them just kind of making sure to keep her happy.
Yeah. I thought it was an interesting choice. I do feel like Anesu wanted to stay back and spearhead and make sure this happens. If she stayed at the island, she misses all of this time. But yeah, I was like, Santini doesn't necessarily win challenges. Yeah, I don't know if she's the one, but she has also found several idols. So if you're like, go find that idol, she has done that before.
Well, she knows who to tell where the idol might be, and they find it twice.
Also that. Also that. So let's go to this immunity challenge, which I find fascinating. It is a bit of a water challenge. They do have to swim out, jump up on a platform, put a ring on a different peg, jump back in, swim. So they're doing basically laps here. And we have learned we do not have some strong swimmers on this cast.
And, Chappies, says that he's, what was his name? He's self-proclaimed
Aquaman.
Aquaman. And I wouldn't want to go up against Aquaman. So for this particular challenge, I found it interesting that there was something to entice them to sit out. And the only two people that ended up competing for this was Chappies and Nicole. And I thought that was really interesting that Nicole decided to not give it to him because like nobody could beat him. But I think I would have sat out too and I'd eaten that spaghetti because I'm like, yeah, I mean, I can swim, but I'm not going to be able to beat you. So you can.
Well, you are much more forgiving than I am because when I saw that two people were competing, I was like, what? You guys get off of this game show then. You come on Survivor to play.
But the temptation was there. So that's also part of the game, right? So
yes, no.
I don't usually say like get down like for the, peanut butter sandwiches or like, donuts when you're standing on a peg out in the water. Like, no,
right.
No, never get down for something like that. But when you know what the challenge is and it's something that's swimming, that there's no way that you can make it up. There's not a puzzle at the end. There's not something where you could make up time for some skill that you have over somebody else. When you know it's straight swimming, it's like, oh, I'm not going to really go and do a race with Michael Phelps. Like, I'm not going to be able to swim as well as he does. So I'm going to sit and have this spaghetti. But I hear you're coming from, and Nico was mad, and I was like, Nico,
yeah. I was like, you tell him, Nico. You tell him. I'm disappointed too. I was so disappointed. I mean, in general, again, this is like why we love these shows, right? They give them temptations. They're like, do you feel safe enough? Are you willing to not be immune tonight at Tribal? Do you want to eat this food? Now, obviously, Santini, I'm like, yes, sit out and eat the gosh darn pasta, obviously. And I believe Tyson has mentioned he's not a strong swimmer. So even though I'm like, dude, you're in danger, I get it. You're not gonna win this. So eat the food. But like Warda's a very good swimmer, and she just ate food. And don't you want to control who goes to Immunity Island? You know there's an extra idol there. I'm not on board with everyone sitting out that sat out.
Yeah, I was definitely surprised when Nico announced that like there was going to be the pasta that was the temptation. And we saw Santini was kind of covering her face like, oh my God, like it was a big decision that she's going to have to make. I thought she was the only one that was going to sit out of this. And then when you pan to the whole thing, I was shocked that everybody sat down and they didn't compete.
Yeah.
Santini,
I was like,
the only one.
This is the group that didn't compete? I thought this was the group ready to jump in. Oh, what? But yes, of course, some people just get the sustenance. I do understand that. I just too many. I also thought it was fascinating that Warda was like, "I'm eating. Slow down."
You're too good at this. Like I want
Warda,
a couple bites.
Just one time say it. Don't keep saying it.
Is there anybody that's eaten on every single reward at this point? I definitely do.
Oh,
that stat.
I don't keep track of that stuff.
They really do get fed a lot of food every episode. Like
it feels like it.
It's not. They're gonna gain weight. Like they're not gonna lose weight this season.
And Nicole is the one who can like eat once a week, and she's like, I'm fine. I'm not hungry at all. So let me burn some calories and do some swimming and jumping in. Chappies is going to stand there and let them keep eating instead of putting his last ring on, and waits till Nicole is almost there. And that is nice of him to let them eat a little bit longer. They're shoving that pasta in their face. But Chappies is obviously going to win, Mr. Aquaman. Easy peasy.
Easy peasy. And I don't think that anybody would have been able to compete with him.
I would have liked to seen it, Warda. Come on. You just had a cookout. Okay. Nico's going to be disappointed. Thank you for that. And Chappies is going to do as they planned and send Santini to Immunity Island.
So I was obviously really happy. I'm like, okay, like I was thinking that the immunity, the tribal council pass was always going to be part of the what they were doing this episode, like this tribal council. Like I thought it was no matter what was going to be used. So I was like, wait, doesn't she get to bequeath the idol? Like when does she bequeath the idol again? That's when she loses. Yes, she loses. She has to bequeath. No, when she doesn't.
Yes,
bequeath.
Right. If you choose not to play, you would come back and bequeath the necklace.
Right. Yeah, no, I was happy that Santini was going, and I was like, okay, like the plan seems like it's working. Like, ooh, who's gonna go out instead if they're like shocked? Especially now we know that Anesu is on their target list. I'm like, yes, okay, Anesu's gonna use the sharp press pass. She's gonna be gone, and then what's gonna happen? Then she's gonna realize that, oh my God, Chappie might be, in danger. So maybe she's gonna give the either idol to Chappies, and then they would have to all vote on somebody. But it'd probably be Anella that would go out then, wouldn't it?
I have no idea. Nope. Yeah, Anella, Nicole, maybe. Who knows? But at this point, I'm like, great. They did it. They got immunity for themselves. Santini gets to go. This is all part of the plan. Looking like Tyson's going. Here we go. While she's at Immunity Island, she has to do one of those ball up a curvy thing, but on a balance beam with this timer. I mean, this was hard.
Give her 20 minutes, give her half an hour to give it a try. Like, I'm sick of seeing the shot that they always choose of the hourglass. It always has just one little grain of sand to go through, and I'm like, does it ever start at the top? Like, I want to see it falling. It seems that they give too little time, and I'm always like, whenever I see that damn hourglass, I'm like, nobody's getting it. Like, even Anella.
Oh my God.
Cornhole in the 36 seconds to throw a beanbag. Like, I don't know.
It's such pressure, and especially when you've got to really, concentrate and work hard to do this curvy ball thing. And she did phenomenal. Oh my gosh.
I screamed. I was screaming.
The fact that she was right there, and I thought she was going to run out of time, but then the ball dropped right at the end. Yeah. Incredible.
But it's like, what if she only seemed, maybe it's just how they edited it, but it only seemed like she tried once,
Sure.
She tried it once and she got the damn ball in, but the hourglass timed out. Would she not have won that challenge?
No.
Oh, I would have been, no, I know. It's like, I'd be you'd be what?
Yeah. Especially if it was that close. If you had just won and the time just run out, I would have been throwing it at the producer right there.
I would have been like, I'm leaving the show.
Not quite, but she says, whatever. I didn't want that fire idol anyway. And I'm like, no, you do. You want all the idols. But
what does fire idol do again?
It makes the top two vote getters have to make fire.
It's kind of fun.
It is fun. I mean, it's really more for us, but I think an idol is an idol for you. You're safe, right? That still you're safe. The fire making is just for us. But she does sit on a big rock and go, I don't know, where's the big rock that I'm supposed to do? I was like, if she does not find this while the camera is literally showing us that she's sitting on the rock.
Well,
but she does.
Rock though, because it wasn't more so by the tree where she actually found it.
It was right at that big. Well, there's that tree, but then there's that big rock, and she was looking at the little rocks.
No, I remember seeing her doing that. I remember seeing when she was sitting on the rock that was the rock, but I felt like where she found it looked like it actually wasn't that rock in the end. But anyway.
Oh yeah, maybe they were tricking me. But luckily she finds it, and so she does have an idol,
which is good. But man,
it's good for her.
She's probably not gonna tell Eddie. Well, she'll tell Kathy because they're gonna be screwed. So they're gonna be
of course she can't not tell somebody. Chantele, what do you say? Back at camp, we now will proceed for the battle of Anella's vote. Kieran is gonna do some massive work here. He's breaking it all down. They're probably going to give you the idol. They're probably going to do this and that. And I just want you to know we're with you. You're not going home. Doesn't matter what they say. Vote with us. Stick with us. Promise you the world. Blah, 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 blah. Warda doesn't even know the plan. They're working so hard on Anella that they forgot to clue Warda in. She is like, wait, what? We're voting on Anesu?
Okay, we're playing the game.
I was like, oh, don't forget to clue her in. But then I was just like, this is such proof. She's like, oh, okay, great. Like, she's not doing the things. She's following, she's just the soldier in the army. Kieran tells her she's voting out of Nesu. She's like, wow, I love it. Great idea. Let's go.
I thought she was going to give some pushback, and I was like, ooh, that'd be interesting if she like feels a little bit of kinship with Nesu and just like maybe goes and tells her. Like, I wanted her to just get a little bit of a heads up or something.
Something would have been nice, but nope. Kieran and Nesu. These are interesting confessionals we're getting from the two of them. They really see the battle against each other. And I loved what Kieran was saying of like, she does what I do and she has to go.
And even like down to like them winning the same type of competitions. Like they're always the final two in the same ones, which is also very interesting. And so I love those confessionals at that time where they both were clocking each other and like watching each other. And I thought it was just pretty phenomenal that they're both making the pounce at the exact same time. I thought it was
that's really the highlight of this episode, because I certainly didn't love the way that it ended up. But watching two very smart players going against each other and recognizing, that's really exciting. I love that he was like, we both can bring people together. And it's true. Like, Kieran is really great with his words, and Nesu's so good with her social game. And he really did outplay her because she got no heads up. She had an advantage she could have used and saved herself, and she got no hint at all and felt safe.
I think she got a hint, and I think she chose not to listen to an instinct.
That's
what must have happened, because like, unless it's just the editing and how they were just in actual tribal council being like, oh, like, are you ever too comfortable? And all those questions or whatever, like just having those questions be asked, it would just make me nervous. Like I wouldn't be saying it. I think Tyson was saying like, maybe Boston Rob was saying like you have to have like nerves of steel to be like sitting on an idol and not play it. Like, I just don't know if I could sit on that advantage, knowing that you are taking a shot at someone in your alliance and not think that they could be taking a shot at you. Like that's where I'm just like, she must have an idea, because she mentioned in that confessional, don't know when it was taken, but that it would make sense for him to target her or something right now. And like, if she got a whiff of like, then maybe like turning on her, she's going to use it. But that was it. Having that thought was the what you did. God.
It was phrased so casually where she was like, wouldn't that be interesting if we both were going at each other? That it sounded like she had been talking about something for so long, and then it morphed into this thought, and she was like, wouldn't that be so interesting? It just didn't feel like she actually had weight behind it. And
her instinct.
But you're right. It could have been her intuition, could have been a gut. Like, she missed that. And I do give Kieran some credit for the name that was floating around was Anella. They did this before, though. They are the masters at the redirect. She never once had one person been like, they've thrown out your name to Nesu, then she would have known to use it. But all she heard was Anella.
Well, my question also is, what did she say about the next week with the tribal council pass? Is it the following week is the last week to use it? Is that what you say at Final 7?
Yeah.
Anytime you think about that, use it the week before, guys. Like, that's what happens. Like, they're like, oh, like, next, I'm going to save it to the last week I can use it. Like, no, use it to the second to last week. I think that's just part of the rule of, like, when you have a certain advantage, because but
that's just a producer. Every single tribal, I bet you a producer says, and what advantages do you have? And she has to say it, and she has to say, I've got 3 more tribals with this, and now I have 1 more tribal with this. So if I do get like a hint, I could use it. Like, I think that those are stock questions every tribal, and here she's saying it, I've got 1 more tribal to use it. So if I need to, I will. off we go to a tribal, and you're like, oh gosh, I don't know. But I do want to talk about the Nicole and Nella conversation here before we get into tribal, because Nicole's doing her pitch. Let's Anasu and us. If we get out Tyson, we can we're stronger. Then we can get out Chappies and Santini. Like, we're a strong group. I feel good about us. Let's go this route. And all we hear from Anella is, I hear you, and I do want to keep us safe through this vote. And I was like, what? Wait, what? This is not
I'm on board.
It's not an I'm on board.
Well, and Nicole had said, I don't know if it was in confessional or if it was to Anella. No, I think it was confessional, that she felt as though Anesu was more genuine with wanting to work with her and more genuine with her approach, and how she's been speaking to her does seem more inclusive. And when she was having conversation, I guess at the reward challenge, or unless there's other ones that we never saw, she did feel like she wasn't as much part of the plan or part of the team, part of the group as she did feel with Anesu. So I was really thinking that Nicole would have been able to convince Anella in that conversation for the fact that she felt a little more comfortable with Anesu.
Yes, I thought so too. And then Anasu goes to Anella and says his name is being thrown around. And I was like, great, this is more info for Anella to be nervous. Can he trust Kieran and Tyson? And then we get Anasu saying she has her advantage for one more tribal. Now we're going to go tribal.
Oh man, it was so painful because I'm just like, from what I'm watching, I'm like, just use it, right? Just use it. Kind of like, when Nancy used that idol and she's like, my sister says, never want to go home with an idol in your pocket, rather have a misplayed idol than to go home. So the fact that she was turning on her alliance member, I think should have been enough for me to be like, okay, if he doesn't think that he should be nervous, I shouldn't think that I should be nervous right now too. Maybe I should be playing this idol. Or this tribal council pass. So just the fact that she was making the move would have been reason enough for me to use that.
Right. Well, I am going to give more credit to Kieran here, because in this tribal, Kieran starts in on 6 strong, 2 people in the minority, and we got to stay 6 strong. And Nico's asking, and other, why would you go after them now? They're just 2 people. Like, what? And he's like, no, gotta do it. And then of course Anesu was like, yeah, 6 strong, gonna do that. So it was just all decoys. It was all lies.
I was worried that Anesu was too convincing in that, I was like, Anesu, you sound like you really are voting Tyson out, just a little bit. Because I was like, it could have spooked Nicole and Anella to be like, oh, wait, they actually are that strong together still. And so I was worried that they would get spooked from her speech. But it seems that they had the intention of voting her out.
But that's Kieran did too good of a job. She had no idea to play the advantage. I can't believe she didn't play the advantage. She had no idea. They misdirected her so well. They also talk about participating in the immunity challenge, but sometimes you need sustenance. I get it. There's a bit of kumbaya talk. Santini and Anella are going to kind of have a thing. And I was like, Santini, zip it. You haven't been at camp.
I know, but I thought you did an okay job for her misdirect. I was like, okay, she's fun. She's fun to watch. But yes,
of
she
course
might have been speaking too much, but I thought she was pretty good at steering things the other way. But I was always nervous for what she was going to say. I'm like, don't say too much.
Yeah, I was like, we need Anella's vote, Santini. Don't say anything. I was like, she doesn't know. She's not going to play the idol when we come back from votes. Anasu votes, so we definitely know she doesn't get to use her advantage. She would have to have left before the vote. So we already know.
There's something I wrote down. I don't remember right now why I wrote it down. I wrote down, explain why it's so obvious. What does that mean? Something was so obvious.
Santini said that to Anella said it's so obvious why Chappie sent Santini to Immunity Island. And she was like, why? Explain why it's so obvious.
Why? Well, why is it so obvious? I didn't really actually know. Like,
he was like, you guys are a duo, is basically what he was saying. He was like, I've spent time with you. I know your relationship. You're a duo. And she's like, whatever. I took out his best friend. What are you talking about? We're not a duo. Is basically what she was trying to say. But you guys are a duo, and guess what? You're in trouble. I would think they're in trouble. I don't know. So we know that Anesu hasn't used her advantage. Then Santini plays no idol whatsoever to help anyone on her team.
Well, I think she felt that they were going to be she was supposed to keep it for her, like, herself. You know what I mean? Like, I think that she thought that they had the numbers sorted out.
Yeah, they thought they had the numbers sorted out. They didn't think they needed to save anybody, so they didn't. And she plays it off like, oh, didn't win anything. Sorry, guys, I don't have an idol. Okay. And then we get a Tyson vote, an Anesu vote.
Like,
yeah, I was like, that's not. What are you doing? You gonna do Tyson, Anesu, Tyson? Is that what you're gonna do? But no. Tyson, Anesu, and Anesu. All the Anesus.
I just like knew that it was going to happen. When you start with the other, it's usually they start with the other person, like the one that you want to be voted out, or you want, it's like the person that's going to be voted out is never the one that's pulled first, unless it's just all of their name or like one.
Right. Hi, Asher. Thank you for the super chat. Why was Anesu able to bequeath an advantage? Don't they expire after votes are read? If not, why don't more people bequeath?
I think it's because she had it on her, maybe, that she was able to do that. Because sometimes it's like left back and can't. I don't know. Actually.
I mean, I think that some people don't care to give it to anybody else. I think this is Anesu being kind. But it's available one more tribal, so it hasn't expired yet. And I do think some advantage say like you can't give it to somebody. Like there are different rules for different advantages, but she wanted to give it to Chappies, and I loved this extra long hug to make sure that he got it.
Like, do you know how hard? How hard I was rooting for? Now I'm going to be rooting for Chappies. Like, I came from so far around. Remember the first episode? We're like, Chappies.
I know. We're like, whoa, he's a lot. Mm-hmm.
But like, now he's like him. It's like him and Santini take over the world. Like, I want you two final two. That's where I'm at. And
yes. Hi, Jolene. We are so excited.
So excited.
As soon as we're done with Big Brother, Survivor starts. It overlaps like 1 week or 2 weeks, I think.
1 week. The 22nd is the overlapping week of the premiere, though. Is that how it works?
Yeah.
That was so annoying. It was like, so on the premiere night, it's going to be both Big Brother and Survivor. I think Survivor is later for 2 hours.
And then we'll have the finale of Big Brother the following week. So we do get 2 weeks of both.
Right.
But that's not that far away, guys. September coming up.
Can't believe it. I don't even know what that's like anymore. Like, it's like, what's the word? Survivor? I don't even watch Survivor.
No, we do. So is it interesting to you that she gave it to Chappies, or is Chappies? But like, is he just the last person that she like kind of semi relates to or works with?
I think that she knows that Chappies was going to be pretty loyal to her. She knows that those two votes were Chappie and Sandy. And she was closer to like in proximity. I think she was closer to Chappies. And so probably by the time like, okay, I'm leaving. Okay, like packing up. Okay, let me get that out and like stick on this pot. You know what I mean? Like, I think it just timing wise and logistically, it was just easier to give it to Chappies.
Yeah.
And so, but I think that she would have rather give it to Chappies than give it to Santini, because she knew that Santini had an idol right now too. Most likely.
Right. I mean, obviously, it would have been nice to have had Santini's vote. That could have helped a smidge. But I was surprised that Nicole, like this whole time, I was like, which way is Anella going to go? He's the swing vote. But Anella made Nicole change her vote. I guess that's what he meant to keep you safe this week. Let's not burn the bridge with Tyson and Kieran and Warda. So
I think this is a big mistake for those two.
yes.
But right now it looks like Santini and Chappies are going to be the next two out, just because like they got betrayed, and so maybe they'll move up 2 spots. But if next week plays out how I'm thinking, Chappies is just going to be like, "Hey, peace! Like I'm leaving this tribal council," and then he's going to be like, "Hey, going to use this idol." Bye. And then it's going to be Anella or Nicole, and Nicole will probably win the immunity challenge, and it's going to be Anesu that's out. So I think.
Wait, what? Anella? Wait, are you saying Anella would be out?
Those 2 names, they always get the confused.
Yeah. Okay.
Anella will be out. So I think that's my prediction. I think that Anella's going to be out next episode because there's going to be no other choice but those 3 people to vote out, and he's going to be the odd man out there. That's my thought.
I agree. I do think Chappies will use it. He only has that one tribal to use it. And so you better. And yeah, Santini's going to be like, oh, I got to use my idol. And then, yeah, if Nicole doesn't win immunity, then maybe she's a contender to go out. It'll be her or Anella. I do not think Warda's going out. Do you?
Never.
You believe what Kieran is saying?
Not competitive in the same way as Anella might be competitive in some of these things. So, and she's always going to be loyal to them. And she will never win against them. So if they're sitting beside, they bring her all the way to the end, they are going to be beating her no matter what. Anella, he has actually had a pretty big story where he was like, through the immunity island a bunch of times. Like he was always a target. Like almost swap screwed. Like all these, he's come through so far. There's no way, but it would be more challenging for them to win against Anella. So I just don't see in any world that'll be the final 3 with him as opposed to Warda. Like it just doesn't. No.
Yeah. I mean, I was like, wait a minute, what would be the reasoning to bring Anella instead of Warda? And I was maybe they thought they wanted Warda's vote to have her sitting on jury, but the jury is actually stacked against them for votes. It's stacked for an Anella or somebody from that OG tribe. Those votes will go to Anella if he's the only one sitting next to like Tyson and Kieran. Yeah, super not smart. So he's being played like a fiddle.
It's like eating it up. I'm like, you guys had enough rewards. Like you don't need to eat up any more stuff.
Yeah. I think if for some reason Anella wins immunity, then it goes to Nicole and Nicole goes out.
But one of those 2 are out next episode.
Yeah. Agreed.
Like, oh man, I should have taken up Anesu on her offer because like we would have been safe this round.
Yeah. First off, you should have taken Anesu up on the offer last week, Santini and Chappies. And you're lucky that you guys have something to save you next week. But then after that, I don't know. You guys got to be scrappy, but they're both pretty scrappy. So,
I mean, I don't know what's going to happen further down the line. Like Chappies will have to win immunity, send Santini to immunity island. Like that's basically Chappies is going to have to win out for him and Santini after next week.
Santini's going to have to idol out. She's going to pull a what's his name, Devon's. She's going to have to get an idol every week.
I'd be obsessed with that, to be fair. Like
I wouldn't put it past her at all. I can see her doing it.
Yeah. Chappies, you win all the immunities, send her, she gets idols or she gets advantages, stuff that's going to help her, and you guys have to take out that trio.
But yeah, I mean, basically you guys have armed Tyson and Kieran. Like we said, we don't think Warda will get any votes or whatever, but like you are just giving more power to Tyson and Kieran, who are very strong players. I'm not taking anything from their games. Like they're very strong players, and just things keep going in their favor.
Yeah. I mean, I still think that Santini must be like the dark horse here with just how they've been showing this season so far. Unless they do a complete misdirect and just be like, no, Santini's out next episode or something silly, because maybe they will do that because they have been tricking me a little bit on the editing.
We've got the trio, Kieran, Tyson, Warda. We've got Anella and Nicole, and then we've got Chappies and Santony, who have 2 advantages. So we're saying they're probably going to save themselves.
Mm-hmm.
That leaves us with the trio and these 2 previous alliance members, Anella and Nicole, to figure something out. That's what we're saying.
Mm-hmm.
And there's an auction next week,
which Santony's very upset that she doesn't have any money for. That's brutal.
She lost half her money.
So like she just gets to sit there and watch people like buy stuff. Like,
well, she has half her money. She's not out of money. She said she lost.
Okay.
She lost half. I don't know what that gets her, but I don't really know how a South African auction works. I mean, we haven't seen an American one in years, decade. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I don't remember the last time. It's a long time.
Yeah,
I've
so
seen
interesting to see how it goes.
I'm trying to remember.
Did they have one last year?
No. Okay, I could be making this up, but I feel like there was no like idle clues. I feel like it was only food advantages, like food, eating food, or like letters from home type stuff. I could be making seasons, but that's what I think were there.
That would be interesting if you wanted to buy a letter from home. Never would I do that.
Me neither. Sorry, Mom. I love you, but no.
Feel like, leave that. Can you find me some food or some comfort? Then yes. A night's sleep. Can I leave for one night and get like a bed?
Yes, a massage.
A massage, a shower and a massage. Yes, thank you. Well, I'll be interested to see this auction. I mean, I think that like it's a domino effect from last week. Here we go. More power to Tyson and Kieran, you know, to just steamroll here.
Well, also, though, I just also have to just point out why I think this is a dumb move on Anella and Nicole is that even if they get out Chappies and Santony, it's still 3-2. I know that he says that they're bringing you in and you're number 3, but like it's 3-2, like no matter what. And you do not have the numbers of Santony and Chappies to be able to take those 3 out. So it's just like really the boys like sold you on like, oh, like the person we've been with for this entire game, we're gonna get rid of her and we could beat her because we're gonna take you to the end. Like
look, Anella's the one who told Sean, no way, not gonna happen. Nope. So I don't trust Anella's reads at all. I think he hears what he wants to hear and goes with, you know, it's always easy to believe the things you want to believe, right? That fit your narrative. Mm-hmm. So he's just eating it up, and I think it will be his demise.
Power of the boys club.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I mean, Kieran is pretty persuasive. I will give him that credit. Mm-hmm.
What logic? None? Like, what? Like, no.
Well, thank you guys for joining us in the chat. We always appreciate it. We love it. And if you're joining us later, please leave a comment. Let me know how you feel about
Nasu going.
And Nasu and Anella buying this. Sure, you're going to Final 3 with us. Okay.
What?
And how do you think next week's going to go? Like, how is this going to go down? Who is in danger coming up here? Let us know, and we'll be back next Saturday with episode 12 recap. And in between, Chantele and I are covering Big Brother on her channel, Reality Realness, and over on Nerdtainment. And also, Chantele does 1,000 other shows, so please make sure you're subscribed over there and follow her.
Oh my God, so excited though that like Love Island USA is almost over. So Monday's the last episode. So like that just frees up a lot of my life. And I'm just gonna be like, what's it like to be like free from like a TV that airs every single day? Like,
I can't believe you did that schedule on top of Big Brother, because I mean Big Brother is quite the schedule as well.
I'm doing both of them right now. I don't know why I'm a maniac.
You are a maniac. I would.
People just were asking me, and I felt really bad. I was like, I have to. They asked me to do it live. I was like, I'm just going to make videos for Love Island UK. And they're like, we'll just do it live. And I was like, okay. So, yeah, I do them both live every day. Wow.
You're very kind. How very kind of you. Very nice. Very thoughtful.
I do it for
All right, you guys. Well, we will see you next time. Have a good weekend. Bye.